Okay, so today for today's paraphrasing lesson, we're going to start off by just looking quickly at this little anchor chart here that's called the 4 R's of paraphrasing. So the first R is remain, which means that you look at the information that can't be changed. So of course that's your names, your dates, your locations, where things happened. Those are super important pieces of information, so you have to leave those there. So that's the information that remains. The next R is replace. Use synonyms to replace words so that you can better understand new ideas. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you an example of how to do that. But that's where your knowledge of synonyms is really going to come in handy. And, you've got your great computer or device that you can actually look up synonyms online. So you've got options there for you. Rearrange. Change the order of some words or ideas to make a new sentence if sequence is not important. And that is really important. You have to make sure that the order isn't important. But if it's not, you can definitely rearrange things. And recheck is the last one. Reread your sentence to make sure the same ideas are shared, but in a new way. And I know that your Brain Pop on Monday talked specifically about that, how you have to, after you've paraphrased it, you have to go back to that source and make sure that you got your information correct. So now we're going to look at some text that I found in Social Studies Weekly. So you can see where I've gotten this text. I've pulled it from Social Studies Weekly, week 17. It's the one on the Alamo, and it's actually in the articles section, and it's on Juan Seguin. So I'm going to read it to you first, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to paraphrase it. Juan Seguin was born in Bejar, which is what is now San Antonio, Texas, on October 27, 1806. In 1828, he was elected an alderman, a sort of city councilman. By 1833, he was elected alcalde, a very high position that is a combination of mayor, judge, and head of the town council. Within 2 years, his military career would begin. Like many Tejanos, or Texans of Mexican descent, Seguin's first goal in fighting against the Mexican government was not for Texas independence. At first, his and others was to defend the country against the dictator Santa Anna. Okay, so before I just start typing up a paraphrase, I'm going to look at this article and I'm going to see, what do I already know? What does my reader probably already know? And what do I need to include? What's important? Well, so I'm looking, obviously his name is important. Probably where he was born is important. But is it important to know that Bejar is now San Antonio? Could I just say San Antonio? Probably. And also a date might be important. I don't know if October 27th is super important. Also, I see these words, alderman and alcalde. They've given me an example of what each of those words mean, and so I don't really think I need to use those particular words because they've told me what they mean, and I just need to know what they mean right now. I also need to know that he was in the military. That's important because he served in the Independence War, in Texas Independence War. Also, when I look at the word Tejanos, and they've defined it, that it means Texans of Mexican descent, I'm not going to define that in my paraphrase because we have talked about that definition for Tejanos a lot in class. So I know that my audience, when I present my research or to my teacher or to my classmates, I know that they know that Tejanos means Texans of Mexican descent. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that out. But you know what I think is the most interesting piece of information here is this right here, that he didn't start fighting for Texas for our independence because he wanted to help Texas succeed. He did it because he wanted to defeat Santa Anna. And I think that's super important. And so that phrase I want to make sure is somehow in my product that I put into my own words. So now I'm going to start my paraphrase. I think I'm going to start it. Now remember, this is just my rough draft. So I may write this out and then I may go back and change it. But I'm going to start out by Juan Seguin because I need to talk about who I'm going to talk about. Juan Seguin, I'm going to say, was an influential Tejano, so I got that information in there, who fought for Texas independence. And the reason why I think that's important for me to start with is because I need my reader to understand that Juan was fighting for Texas independence. That's why I picked him as my historical figure. And so just from the get-go, that's what's the most important information from here. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to give a little background. So I can say he was born in 1806 in San Antonio, I can't talk and write at the same time, Texas. Now, I did not include the fact that Behar is now San Antonio. I just put San Antonio. You may want to adjust that and make sure that the reader understands it used to be called Behar. I don't think that's as important information as some of the other stuff, so I'm leaving that piece out. As a young man, he was elected as a city official and later in a higher capacity, as head of the town council. Now, this is a little bit tricky because there really was a lot of stuff going on here that they called it. So they said he was elected alcalde, a very high position that is a combination of mayor, judge, and head of the town council. Well, that's a lot of information that I don't really think needs to be known other than he was a bigwig, right? He had a high position. So I just made sure to help my reader understand that he was a bigwig. He was in a higher capacity. And I put as head of the town council. Maybe I should put in there as head of the town council and mayor. Maybe I should put that just to make it clear. Or I could say maybe he was in charge of the town. That might be a better choice. I might have to go back and fix that later. I'm not quite sure about that whole thing. That's a lot of information in just one, let's see, was it one sentence, one or two sentences? Okay. Let me go on for now. After serving in San Antonio, because that's where he served in the political stuff, as an official. Remember, this is just my rough draft, so I can easily go back. Juan joined the military. This is the tricky part. Juan joined the military to assist Texas in their fight for independence. Independence. However, Juan's ultimate goal was to defeat who? That's right. Defeat Santa Anna. To defeat Santa Anna. Okay, so let's look at that. Juan Seguin was an influential Tejano who fought for Texas independence. He was born in 1806 in San Antonio. Okay, so we know he was a Tejano. We got that. He was born in 1806. We got that. Okay, and in San Antonio, Texas, we got that. Actually, San Antonio right there. We'll just highlight that. And we'll highlight 1806. We'll highlight that. And he was a Tejano. He was of Mexican descent. Okay. Let's see what else we have. As a young man, he was elected as a city official. So we have the city councilman right there. And we have, let's see, and in a higher capacity. So remember I said high position. So we'll say higher capacity. As head of the town council and mayor. So I said mayor and town council right there. Okay. After serving in San Antonio as an official, Juan joined the military, so military career, to assist Texas in their fight for independence. However, Juan's ultimate goal was to defeat Santa Anna. Okay, so how'd we do? Pretty good. Now, as I read it a couple of times, I may find that I want to change my wording a little bit, but overall, I haven't stepped on the toes of the original author. I've put things into my own words, but I've kept true to what the author was trying to teach us about Juan Seguin. One thing I think that helped me in going through this was I liked being able to highlight some key important information as I went through and checked my paraphrase. I feel like that helped me to make sure I got everything. The one thing I will say that we want to remember is when we paraphrase, we certainly don't want to make it longer than the original text. I checked the word count of each paragraph. So the original text was about 98 words and my paraphrase was 74. So mine was less than the original text. And so you want to make sure that usually that your paraphrase includes less words than the original text, because often the original text will be a little more flowery and you may not need to keep it that way. So that's it for this lesson. I have a quick exit ticket for you, and then you will move on to writing, and then I would like you to concentrate on your research. I know this lesson's a little bit longer than maybe Monday's lesson was, but I really feel like just going through this might help you understand how to paraphrase a little bit better. So good luck. I hope it answered some questions for you.